Welcome back to part 3 of the 1944 John Deere B. In this part, we're going to put the carburetor on. We're going to install the magneto, time the ignition, set up a temporary gas tank, and see if it's going to run. I didn't record any footage of rebuilding the carb and magneto, but here they are ready to install. We have the DLTX 34 that I took apart, disassembled, cleaned it out, put all new parts back in it. I use most of the time I use a comprehensive carburetor kit, which includes just about everything you need to put one together except for the float. The magneto, I disassembled it, cleaned everything real good inside, cleaned that rotor and cleaned the magnet and made sure everything was nice and clean. All new parts on this thing came from Brillman Company. I've had some issues with other aftermarket parts that seem to bind up when you put the cap and everything on, but all the parts for this one came from Brillman's, and I did not have any issues with it, and it's throwing a good hot spark. One thing I did want to go over is it's very important to get these passages clean on these carburetors, and in order to do that you need to get these special long drill bits where you can reach into the passages and clean them out. I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of guys on social media talking about they can't get their carburetor to work right after rebuilding it, and it's because these passages are not clean. You have these brass plugs here that you have to remove from the passages. Most of the time you have to apply some heat to those to get them to come loose. They're a real pain in the butt to get off if you do not have heat. So you remove these plugs and you run these drill bits through the passages. They sell two different sizes for these DLTX carbs. And the really important one to clean is this one right here. This is the hidden idle circuit. This one gets overlooked, and I can't count how many times I've seen guys post a video and their tractor won't run right and they don't know why. That's because there's just a little bitty shallow port in there that gets plugged up, so you have to remove that plug and run this drill bit in there and clean that out. You got to make sure that's clean or it will not idle correctly. Hey, we don't want to forget the antifreeze in it. This is stuff I drained out of it. I got about 3 good gallons out of it. Hopefully we don't have any leaks in it. There's 6 gallons in there, or close to 6 gallons, about 5 3/4. I don't see anything running out, leaking anywhere, so that's a good sign. Alrighty, it's time to time this Magneto. What we're going to do is we're going to pull the spark plug out so we can feel for the compression stroke. And what you need to look for is this left-hand impulse marking on the flywheel, which is a little dot right there. And that needs to line up with that mark right there on the gear cover. Now you can forget about top dead center. You really don't need to worry about that. What you need to worry about is getting this up on compression stroke and getting those 2 marks to align. When those 2 marks align, the groove in the coupler, drive coupler over on the other side should be horizontal. Yeah, I don't know how much of the way I'm going to be in this so you can see, but just put your thumb over the spark plug hole. That felt like compression. There comes compression. Bring this left-hand impulse mark up with the mark on the cover, and we're ready to install the mag. Now when this mag's installed properly, you'll rotate that mag over there to where that impulse spring trips at the exact moment these marks line up. That way you know it's in time. Now you can see how that drive coupler is horizontal. The slot in that coupler is horizontal. And when you bring this mag around to where it catches the impulse stop, you can see it's going up there, or it's going to more of the 10 or 11 o'clock position. So when it comes around and gets ready to trip, it'll be in that horizontal position. Now with the stud on there, it makes it a little hard to get that thing to line up. So a little trick is to go to the other side, rotate that flywheel clockwise a quarter of a turn to bring that slot up and down. Now we've got that slot in a more friendly position to get the Magneto installed. On these styled bees, that top bolt is kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, nope, not started yet. I thought it was started, but it wasn't there. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and turn the camera off. This is going to take a while. Now with the mag installed, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it back some. Bolts aren't drawn up all the way. We got left them a little loose until we get it in time. Go back around the other side, line that left-hand impulse mark up with the crankcase cover, or the not the crankcase cover, but the gear cover. Oh, and I just heard that thing impulse. Let's bring it around straight up and down and see where that takes us. You want the mag, you want to hear that impulse spring snap when those two lines line up. So clockwise about a quarter of a turn. So we're way off. Let's see which way we want to go with that thing. Go forward maybe. Oh, right on the money right there. Double check that one more time. Oh, that's close enough. We'll go ahead and tighten the mag down. It helps if you get a little bitty stubby wrench to get that top one. Okay, now with everything set right, the left-hand spark plug, which is over on the flywheel side, will go to the top. And this side will go to the bottom. Now, these spark plug wires look like they're in pretty good shape, so I'm not going to worry about replacing those right now. They got straight boots on them. I will replace them eventually, but to get it running, we're going to try those. I got some new Autolite 3116s to go in here. I seem to have the best luck out of these plugs. But let's just put one in and ground it out and see if we got spark on it. Oh, oh, it's got spark. That's got good spark. It is possible to get these wires 180 out. Good thing it's a 2-cylinder. If that happens, you just go around to the magneto and switch the wires. Now it's time to go ahead and install this carburetor. Put the thick gasket towards the manifold. This elbow can be a little tricky sometimes getting the line up with that hose up there tight. That bolt's a little bit too short. Gives a little bit longer bolt to work with. Oh yeah, it goes right in there now. There you have it. Carburetor's installed. We're ready to hook a temporary fuel line up to it. See if this thing will run. Well, we have our temporary fuel tank set up. Going down to the carburetor. We are getting fuel out of it. It should be ready to roll. Petcock's open. Crack our throttle about halfway. Give her a choke. And let's see how long this takes. Oh, let's see if these spark plug wires are backwards. And that gauge is not reading any oil pressure, so we're going to hook a manual gauge up to it and try it again. I'd say that's why that gauge is not reading any oil pressure. Well, there you have it. She runs. I'm very pleased with how it runs. We got a little more tinkering and investigating to do with it, but it's a running. Seems to be a little bit of noise coming from the governor. I don't know if it's just because it's been dry so long and needs to build some oil up in it and lubricate it again, but we may have to dig into that later. The clutch doesn't want to disengage all the way, so I may have to pull that cover and check that clutch out. Might just be a little bit of rust buildup holding it. It's got a pretty decent snap, but doesn't want to disengage all the way. Also feels like it may have a little bit of vibration in it, so we'll also check that clutch disc driver and make sure it's not installed in the wrong orientation. Smokes a little bit up here, probably need a little bit of exhaust work. No leaks in the cooling system. It's still full. Our little JB Weld patch job right there is holding up. It's not leaking. Not exactly sure what the next step's going to be. The fuel tank does have a little bit of rust in it. It's not real bad, but it does have some rust in it. I may just rig up a sediment bowl with a screen on it for right now. It all depends if I got to pull the hood for that governor. You know, there's some jobs like replacing this upper water pipe and replacing these broken bolts. You'll have to pull the hood to that for that. If we can get by with that stuff for a while, I'd soon not have to pull that hood just for the gas tank. That would all be one big job to do everything at once. Tire needs flipped around. This tire right here is in pretty bad shape. I have a matching tire for this side we need to put on there. Need to get the hub clamps on it. These are F&H round spokes. Those are not original equipment for that tractor. I do have original front rims and tires that I'll put on there, or rims and tires that match the original equipment, so I'll be pulling those off and putting original equipment back on it. But it's been a pretty good day. I'm pretty pleased. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and see where we go next.